Ravanachari Yamuna Ravanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Balaba Grivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Balaba Grivaradari Jaya Yasodhanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yasodhana Yamuna Chiravanachari Yamuna Yamuna Chiravanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Balaba Grivaradari Jaya Gopi Gopi Jana Balaba Grivaradari Jaya Gopi Yasodhanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yasodhanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yamuna Chiravanachari Yamuna Yamuna Chiravanachari Yamuna Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jayam Vishnupāda Paramahansa Parivrakaracārya Sutta Śrīmad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupāda Paramahansa Parivrakaracārya Sutta Śrīmad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki ISKCON Acharya Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur Ki Prem se kal Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Ki Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kundi Giri Godana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Mayapur Dham Ki Dwarka Dham Ki Jagannath Dham Ki Ganga Maya ki, Yamuna Maya ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Srishntai Gurachanda ki, Sri Krishna Balaram ki, Sishada Shamaswandi ki, Harinam Sankirtan ki, Samaveta Bhakta Binda ki, Nitai Gopimanandi. All glory to the same devotees, all glory to the same devotees, all glory to the same devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru Gauranga. Ajnana Trimendasya Gana Gana Salakaya Chaksu Sumita Yena Tasma Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishta Stapita Yena Bhutale Sayarupa Kadamaya Dadati Sampadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Sritam Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavascha. Shri rūpaṁ sagrajata sahagana raghunata vitata sajiva sadvaita savaduta parijana sayata Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devan Shri Radha Krishna Parasahagana Lalita Shri Vishakavitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gourange Radha Bindavaniswari Vishabhanu Sutadevi Panamame Hari Priye Vanchaka Patarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva Patitana Pavana Vebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavadanya Ya Krishna Pima Padayate Krishna Ya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurati Se Namah Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadara Siva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Ananda Lila Maya Vigrayo, Himabada Vichavisundarayo, Tasma Maha Prema Rasa Pradaya, Chaitanya Chandra Namaste, Chaitanya Chandra Namaste. So I thank everyone for being here this evening for the Bhagavad Gita class, and also especially those who are watching from the Vrindavan TV. So everyone is welcome. So today's text is text number 52, right? So the chapter is the universal form, Vishwarup. So Krishna had revealed this universal form to Arjuna. So, and of course, Arjuna was very much satisfied that he has seen this form. Even though this form, especially the extent of the manifestation, was never shown to everyone before, until this was shown to Arjuna. So Arjuna was very pacified, even though initially he was very much afraid because of the magnificence of this Vishwarup, this universal form. But ultimately, after all, is the Lord. The Lord is personally present before him. So he was essentially, happy, satisfied. And then, of course, after the showing of the universal form, the Lord is now revealing his original form to Arjuna. So this evening's text is about that, how the Lord is telling Arjuna that what you have seen was never seen before by anybody. So we read it together. Text number 52. śrī-bhagavān uvāca. su-durdarśam idam rūpam. dṛṣṭavān asya devā rūpasya. nityaṁ darśana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ. śrī-bhagavān uvāca. su-durdarśam idam rūpaṁ dṛṣṭavān asya mama devā rūpasya nityaṁ darśana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ śrī-bhagavān uvāca su-durdarśam idam rūpam dṛṣṭavān asya mama devā rūpasya nityam darśana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ uvāca su-durdarśam dṛṣṭavān su-durdarśam idam rūpaṁ dṛṣṭavān asya mama devā rūpasya nityam darśana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ. Śrī-bhagavān uvāca. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, su-durdarśam, very difficult to see, idam, this, rūpam, form, dṛṣṭavān, as you have seen, yet which mama of mine, devā, the demigods, happy also, asya, this, rūpasya, form, nityam, eternally, darśana-kāṅkṣiṇaḥ, aspiring to see. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear. Purport. In the 48th verse of this chapter, Lord Kṛṣṇa concluded revealing his universal form and informed Arjuna that this form is not possible to be seen by so many pious activities, sacrifices, etc. Now here the word su-durdarśam is used, indicating that Krishna's two-handed form is still more confidential. One may be able to see the universal form of Krishna by adding a little tinge of devotional service to various activities like penances, Vedic study, and philosophical speculation. It may be possible, but without a tinge of bhakti, one cannot see that has already been explained. Still, beyond that universal form, the form of Krishna with two hands is still more difficult to see. even for demigods like Brahmā and Lord Śiva. They desire to see him, and we have evidence in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam that when he was supposed to be in the womb of his mother, Devaki, all the demigods from heaven came to see the marvel of Kṛṣṇa, and they offered nice prayers to the Lord. Although he was not at that time visible to them, they waited to see him. A foolish person may deride him, thinking him an ordinary person. But I may offer respect not to him, but to the impersonal something within him. But these are all nonsensical postures. Kṛṣṇa, in his two-armed form, is actually desired to be seen by demigods like Brahmā and Śiva. In Bhagavad Gita 9:11, it is also confirmed, avajananti mamudha manosim tanum asritam. He is not visible to the foolish persons who deride him. Krishna's body, as confirmed by Brahma Samhita and confirmed by Krishna himself in Bhagavad Gita, is completely spiritual and full of bliss and eternality. His body is never like a material body, but for some who make a study of Kṛṣṇa by reading Bhagavad Gita or similar Vedic literatures, Kṛṣṇa is a problem. For one, using a material process, Kṛṣṇa is considered to be a great historical personality and a very learned philosopher. But he's an ordinary man. And even though he was so powerful, he had to accept a material body. Ultimately, they think that the absolute truth is impersonal. Therefore, they think that from his impersonal feature, he assumed a personal feature attached to material nature. This is a materialistic calculation of the Supreme Lord. Another calculation is speculative. Those who are in search of knowledge also speculate on Kṛṣṇa and consider him to be less important than the universal form of the Supreme. Thus, some think that the universal form of Kṛṣṇa, which was manifested to Arjuna, is more important than the personal form. According to them, the personal form of the Supreme is something imaginary. They believe that in the ultimate issue, the absolute truth is not a person. But the transcendental process is described in Bhagavad Gita chapter 4. To hear about Kṛṣṇa from authorities, that is the actual Vedic process. And those who are actually in the Vedic line hear about Kṛṣṇa from authority. And by repeated hearing about him, Kṛṣṇa becomes dear. As we have several times discussed, Kṛṣṇa is covered by his Yogamaya potency. He is not to be seen or revealed to anyone and everyone. Only by one to whom he reveals himself can he be seen. This is confirmed in the Vedic literature. For one who is a surrendered soul, the absolute truth can actually be understood. The transcendentalist by continuous Krishna consciousness and by devotional service to Krishna, can have his spiritual eye opened and can see Krishna by revelation. Such a revelation is not possible even for the demigods. Therefore, it is difficult even for the demigods to understand Krishna. And the advanced demigods are always in hope of seeing Krishna in his two-handed form. The conclusion is that although to see the universal form of Krishna is very, very difficult and not possible for anyone and everyone, it is still more difficult to understand his personal form as Shyama Sundar. So this is a very wonderful verse, and also very wonderful purport by Srila Prabhupada, whereby he mentioned how the form of Krishna is very difficult to understand, difficult to see. If you cannot see him, if you cannot understand him, how can you see him? So this verse, says su-durdarśam, durdarśanam, extremely difficult to do, which means not just durdarśanam, to see, but very, very difficult. So therefore the word su added to it in Sanskrit, when you put the word su, means something very, very difficult, extremely. That's vishesha, the qualification. More qualified to more adjective. More adjective is added to it. Therefore, it's very, very difficult to see Krishna. There is one verse in the chapter 2 of the Gita which is explaining that the absolute truth is very, very difficult to understand, the absolute truth. Asya, but asya means it's amazing. Something that is achintya, inconceivable. Asyayavat, yat pasyati kasidenam, asyayavat, padati tataiba chanyaha, asyayavat chayanam anya srunoti, sutvapi enam vedana chaiva kaschit. So this is what Lord Kṛṣṇa is saying, that some look at him as amazing. Asya means something that is very wonderful, very amazing. Some describe him as amazing, and some they hear of him as amazing, and some even after hearing about him cannot understand him at all. That people have been hearing about God for such a long time. Still, it can never be understood. So this verse is mentioned here that the demigods, many great personalities, they've been aspiring to see the Lord since time immemorial. Since beginning of time, they've been aspiring to see God, to see him. Still, they are unable to see him. Why? Why is it that all the great personalities, the demigods, even Lord Brahmā, he mentioned how Lord Brahmā, how he meditated for thousands of years to see the Lord. Still he could not see. He tried. Performed so much austerity to see the Lord. Still cannot see. Because the Lord is not susceptible, is not a product of our imagination. So because he's not a product of our imagination, how can we see him? It's not possible. So who can see God? Who can see him? You know, as long as one is not devoted to the Lord, it's not possible to see. So the Lord is telling Arjuna, he said, you know, what he said, dṛṣṭavān, asya, this form of mind which you have seen, it's not possible for everyone else to see. So Arjuna is a special category of devotee. He's a param bhakta, he's a great devotee of the Lord. So therefore, he could see Krishna. He see Krishna all the, after all, Krishna is driving his chariot. But others who simply want to speculate of the absolute truth, they cannot see him. They want to say the absolute is this, absolute is that, absolute this way. Or when they see the form of Krishna, they cannot accept that this is the Supreme Lord. They can't accept. Of course, they can't really see the actual form of Krishna anyway. Because Krishna says, it's avajananti mahamada, avajananti mahamada manusintanu asritam, that I never manifest myself to the fools. I don't manifest myself to the fools. Avajananti mahamada. The fools cannot understand me. That's what the Lord says. Because why they can't understand him? Because they consider the Lord to be ordinary. They consider him to be ordinary. The thing is just like one of us. He's just like us. They think, even though sometimes, like the impersonalists, the Mayavadis, even though when they want to talk of the Lord, and especially the Lord coming as a person, they will say that the absolute truth or the Brahman, when he incarnates himself, he has become, he takes up a material nature. And that material nature is in personal forms. It's not a permanent form. That form is a product of material energy. So therefore, they cannot accept that the Lord's form is Satchidananda Vigraha, is eternally, is eternal, full of knowledge, and full of bliss. You know, Lord Brahma said, Isvara Parama Krishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadi Adi Govindam Sabakaranam Karanam. So this is what Lord Brahma said, that the Supreme Isvara, is Krishna. There are so many Ishwaras, so many controllers. Many controllers are there, Ishwaras. But the Parameshwara, Parama Ishvara, that is Krishna. Ishvara Parama Krishna. And then he said, Satchidananda Vigraha. His body is eternal form, and that form is bliss. When the Lord comes, he's youthful, he always maintains his youthful form. When the Lord comes, he never grows old. His body stays the same. His body never grows old. So, what is that? When Lord Brahma said, he said, Anadi Adi Purusham, what is that? Is Anadi, is beginningless. And he's the beginning of everything. He's the beginning of everything. But he himself is beginning. And he has no cause. He is the cause of all causes. Sarva Karana Karanam. This is what Lord Brahma is saying. So therefore, Lord Brahma is saying that who sees the Lord? Who sees him? Who can see the Lord Ashima Sundar? Who can see him? So in the Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahma said, Primanjana Chicharita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayesu Vilokayanti Yam Syama Sundar Machita Guna Swarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. This is what Lord Brahma's prayer. The saintly persons whose eyes, it's a bhakti vilochanena, prabhanjana bhakti vilochanena, their eyes is smeared with the ointment of love, prem. So they always see Krishna. Their eyes, because they are full of bhakti, full of devotion, so they have love of God. They are the prema, they are prem bhaktas. So they always see Krishna within their hearts, both external and internal. They see Krishna. And the same as Shama Sundar, the embodiment of inconceivable qualities. So therefore, Govindamadi Purusham Taham Bhajami. I worship that Govinda, who the pure devotees see in their eyes, which is smeared with ointment of devotion, ointment of love, so they can see the Lord permanently. So the Acharya said that although Sri Krishna's residence is in Goloka and his qualities are inconceivable, he can nevertheless be seen by the eyes of devotion that are anointed with the black salve of unconditional love. Therefore, not everyone realizes him in the same way. His darshan is available according to the degree to which one has developed prem. Consequently, the depth of one's realization of Sri Krishna depends on how much one's sadhana is infused with bhakti. Therefore, it is said in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Bhakti paresano bhavo viraktiyan yatra. Realization of Bhagavan depends on the measure of one's bhakti. Furthermore, those whose hearts are filled with deep feelings of possessiveness can realize Sri Krishna all the more. Thus, the level of perception of Sri Krishna's sweetness also depends on the intensity of love, of prem. Because there are many devotees of Krishna, there are varieties of devotees of Krishna, and those devotees, they may be on different stages. Different levels of bhakti is there. And all of them, as they say, like Krishna says, he said, Ye yatama papadhyante, tansatava bhajamyaham, that because everyone is not the same, but the approach the particular person have for him, to the level that a devotee make approach to him, to that level the Lord reciprocates. The Lord reciprocates according to the level by which a devotee take a step towards him. Because everyone is there rendering service to the Lord, rendering service to Krishna, but everyone is not the same. So there are different levels of reciprocation, So therefore the Lord say, Ye yatama prapadan say, tansata vabhajamyaham. Just like, the gopis of Vrindavan, they are the topmost lovers of Krishna. They are the greatest lovers of Krishna. So therefore, even though those greatest devotees of Krishna, they always feel in separation from Krishna. Similarly, Krishna is also always feeling separation from them. Always feeling separation from them. Just like this month is the month of Rath Yatra. We're going to be having Rath Yatra in the next 3 weeks, we are having Rath Yatra, whereby Krishnas will be taken from Dwarka to Vrindavan. That's what Rath Yatra is. Like in Puri, there is the Krishna is taken from Sri Mandi and is taken to Gundicha Mandi. Sri Mandi represents Dwarka and Gundicha represents the Vrindavan. So therefore, the gopis, they are pulling Krishna, they're able to lure Krishna out of the Sri Mandi, out of the Dwarka, and they are not taking him to Vrindavan. And of course, the meeting was Kurukshetra. So the meeting was Kurukshetra, and now they are not taking Krishna to Vrindavan. So Krishna himself, when he sees Vrindavan, is feel at home, and he's feeling so much separation from his devotees. So therefore, that form of Jagana is actually a form of separation that Krishna is feeling towards the devotees of Vrindavan, especially the gopis. So because when Krishna feels separation, his body changes. There's ecstatic feelings of separation. So his body changes, the eye becomes big, his limbs enter his body. This has been explained by the acharyas, of course, how the form of Jagana is a form of Krishna feeling separation from his devotees of Vrindavan. Radha, Viraha, Vigraha. Viraha means separation. Viraha, Vigraha, Vidu. So the feeling separation from his devotees. That is the form of Krishna. So the Lord says, su-durdarśam. He said, nobody can see this form of mine. This true and form of mine, nobody can see. Only my devotees can see it. So my devotees, and of course, the more they see Krishna, they are never tired of seeing Krishna. They are never tired of seeing him. And of course, if you are lucky to see Krishna, then your material life is finished. If you are lucky to see Krishna. I think Srila Rupa Goswami, he had composed a prayer, he had composed a poem that if you have any desire left in this material world, if you have desire for relative, for any materialistic affection, then don't look at Krishna standing on the bank of Bansivat. Don't look at Krishna. Because the moment you look at Krishna, your materialistic life is finished. The moment you see Krishna, your material life is finished, because Krishna is very attractive. On any form of material, any form of materialistic attraction that you may have will go away, will be finished. Nothing in this material world will matter to you anymore. You become like a madman, running all over Vrindavan, running, Govardhan, everywhere searching for Krishna. Hey Krishna, where are you? That is, if you are fortunate to see that beautiful form of Krishna. So, the Lord said, my form is very difficult to see, but if one is a devotee, can see Krishna form. So therefore the Lord said in the following verse, he said, Bhakta ananyaya sakyan eva vidu Arjuna, Gyantan destan chitatwina provision that only by all my Lord devotional service can I be seen as I am. Not by Gyan or by Karma or by Yoga, by anything. Only by Bhakti ananya, not by any other thing. Only by Bhakti can Krishna be seen. So that's what we have to aspire for. So I have another lecture at 7 o'clock, so I have to stop here. So this is very nice, very, very nice description of Krishna saying that this form is very, very difficult to see. Even the demigods, they are aspiring, they've been wanting to see this form. He said, nityam, eternally, trying to make sin my form, still they could not see it. They could not see it. This is what Krishna is saying. So let us bear this in mind. Let's aspire to see Krishna's form. How do we see Krishna? We have to approach authority. We have to approach those great caliber devotees who are always seeing Krishna. And we have to approach them and we have to hear about Krishna from them, serve them, and render service under their direction, under their guidance. Then this is possible. It's possible to see Krishna. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna.